Who in the hell's idea was this? This is complete ludicrous. But I tell you what, that boy's smarter than 2 German shepherds doing a drug bust.
Operation. And I know we have just touched down.
Turn this motherfucker out.
All the big girls say.
Oh yeah.
Big dog.
Ooh, this a damn podcast. Boy, if you are done playing, can we please start the show? Well, at least let me shout out.
Shooter on the beat.
Let's talk about it.
Doing, making the whole scene the same. Big dog, about to bring the motherfucking pain. Lock it in, lock it in, lock it in, lock it in, lock it in.
Yes, sir. Oh no. Oh, yeah. 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 Man, it is your boy Big Man with the big hands. Woo! Man, look. Give it going. Yeah, we need all that in this homie. Yeah, we need all that, man. Hey, listen, man. Today, man, we just gonna go ahead and end this trilogy. You feel me? It's officially a trilogy now, man. The Family Matters topic has became a trilogy, man. And I feel like we've dissected certain variables that, you know what I mean, I still didn't get as deep as I wanted to in a lot of things, man, but I think we got the point of where we were going on this particular topic, man. And it's just like, yo, at this point, man, my objective is to make you think. You know what I'm talking about? This is all this is, man. Just make you think about exactly the influences you unintentionally are allowing yourself to be subjected to. You know what I mean? That's pretty much all this is, man. So, as promised, man, we here. Religion. That's a big weight right there, man. You know what I'm talking about? Just religion in general. Now let's make this very clear. Me, myself, I do believe in Christianity. So, you know what I'm talking about? I don't want to be bashed for my beliefs, because I'm not bashing you for yours. You hear me? Because I know God. You hear me? I'm his child. That's completely here nor there. Disregard my mouth here on this show. Disregard my antics at some time. I am God's child. Do you hear me? So I will be treated as such. I will be treated as such. You hear me? Completely here on there. I love you, boy. But this is what the day is about, man. You hear me? So hold on. Let me go. You feel me? Like, this how we gonna end it. Similar to the way we had to begin it. You feel me? Let me just swivel on. Golf caddy on you. So, this how we gonna do it, man. Now, I'm under construction. Let's make oh yeah, buddy. I just said a lot of good stuff and I ended up letting a couple fly right after. Hey, listen, I'm under construction. I can admit it. I ain't saved. I was saved. I just said I'm a Christian. I am definitely not saved. So, to all my Christians out there, there's no hypocrite madness going on here. That's not now. I ain't got that far working under construction here nor there. So, this is what it is. Religion. The influence family plays, and we gonna tie everything that we discussed in the form, in a sense, to religion. Because I don't think a lot of y'all understand the hold mentally we allow religion to have on us, especially as adults. So, let's go ahead and start here. Now, everybody probably doesn't believe in God or Jesus, whatever. They don't, you know what I'm talking about? That might not be their belief. That might not be their belief, and I completely understand that, nor am I disregarding people who do. Because in this time, you need to find something to believe in if you can't believe in something. So, just make sure you believe in something that's real. You feel? Family. Now, I'm not putting no specificness on none of this, man. All this is just general talk. If you take it how you want, because I'm not going to kill this time. I'm going to let it fly. A lot of time we let family dictate our lifestyle based off religion. You know what I'm talking about? Now, we are openly see things from people who, you know what I mean, shower us and hammer us with religion. But what happens in those moments when they showing us, the people that they're doing all this to, that they're not abiding by that all the time? See, this is the thing about religion. It's a lot of part-time religion livers out here these days. You understand me? A lot of people more so want to live by the parts that benefit them and crucify people that's not living by the parts they think they should. That whole part. So we're gonna start from the bottom with this, generation wise. Okay. I'ma give y'all some detail on how some people feel who don't really care too much about the religion of, you know what I mean, Christianity and all that, man, because they found their own answers elsewhere, and that's respect. You know what I'm talking about? I'm still on my journey to find out and do my own research things as I'm learning. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, I serve God. You hear me? Like, I have questions myself about certain things pertaining to the Bible at times. So as I do, I talk to people who I know can give me that knowledge. So, I'm under construction, as I said. I saw something one day on the internet, man, and this dude said something that really made me think. You hear me? He said, I watched, it was 2 or 3 generations of my family say they live in a certain way and doing all this because they know God coming back soon. And in the process of all that, he watched all 3 generations of them die and God never came back. Okay. The concept of what he said was so much deeper than what we think. Because this goes all the way back to slave time. You know what I'm talking about? And a lot of people already know, you know what I'm talking about, the Bible was used as not just a weapon, but it was used as a weapon on both sides. You get what I'm saying? The Bible was used as a weapon on both sides. You know what I'm talking about? Because slaves used the Bible for faith. You know what I'm talking about? That's why we have these old hymns and all that good stuff that carry a lot of just the morale of when you hear these songs. Like, they carry a lot of pain and passion. Because them songs came from a generation of people who didn't have the things we have now. So, religion back then was the only thing that kept people going a lot of times. You know what I'm talking about? As time progressed, you know what I'm talking about? Some people feel like things were altered to keep slaves in certain mind states. Because, in a sense, it made them favor the white man, because we've always been shown images of the white man as God. Fair enough. As I was coming up, more so, that's all I really ever saw. So, that's the structure of how the Christianity is, you know what I mean, it's a pagan, you know what I mean, it's a pagan religion and all of that. Correct? Like, that's how a lot of people believe, like, the white man altered the Bible to make it seem like, you know what I'm talking about, like, it just mentally more submissive to the white man. Especially by including the face of a white man as God. As time progressed, blacks started to be able to have certain things that they could, you know what I mean, contribute to society without being, you know what I mean, put in certain situations. And religion continued to play a huge part in that, because when you look back at a lot, like, God was so favorable in those times. Like, you know what I mean? That's why to this day, we something good happens, somebody says thank God and all that. That's generational. That's been passed down to the generations that still exist that do have a relationship with God. Okay, I'm going somewhere with all this. Just stay with me, man, because I didn't know how I was going to approach this, because it's going to get deep. So, did we unintentionally start to do the same thing with the Bible that was done to our ancestors in slave form? And I mean this in this form. Did we start embedding certain ways of lifestyle into our youth and generations to come to benefit what we wanted from them lifestyle wise at that moment? Now, this where it gets iffy. Young kids these days, man, unless they brought up in like certain families that like are religious, and like now I'm talking in general. This is just in general. That's not just Christianity. Unless they're brought up in a household that's religious, these kids grow up with just knowledge of the world, nothing spiritual, unless that's something that they personally take time to dwell in. So, when a kid is at a certain age where they can start perceiving the words that's been told to them, if they're not being embedded with, you know what I mean, certain words and scriptures of faith from whatever you believe in, what becomes of that child in the real world, in modern day society that we live in currently? You know what I'm talking about? Now, okay, everybody who has a child who has a religious background or family has a religious background, be honest with yourself right now. How often did you like attending church or whatever religious form of activity that you and your family as a unit, you know what I mean, continuously, hopefully consecutively were a part of? Now, I'm going to be honest. This is about me. Current day, I have no problem with going to church. I love God. That's just me keeping it hot. Am I consistent?
Nope.
And do I get lazy sometimes?
Yep.
That's here nor there. That has nothing to do with the faith or the assumption that there is a higher power that works at a favor for me because of the things that I do and the time I do give and the long time I do give thanks. You know what I'm talking about? Now, through the years, this is where the disconnect has become with religion. So many people have become woke. Now, this is where that starts to conflict with everything that you know. What happens when somebody from another religion gives you certain variables of facts that your God might not be the God that he's being betrayed because of this? This is Christianity included. Christianity included. I cannot disconnect the religion that I'm a part of and exempt it from that statement. You know what I'm talking about? Have I read the Quran? No. Have I skimmed through it? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? But sitting down and digesting it the way I would digest the Bible, I have not. So when a man or a woman tells me certain answers are in the Quran, they changed it around in the Bible. Am I the one who is ignorant for not applying that information to see for myself if it's true?
Shit just got real.
Or should I remain stubborn because that's me being disloyal to God in the form that I was taught he's supposed to be? That's just one fashion. You know what I'm talking about? That's just something to stick with you for now, because we're going to try to build this. This is completely freelance right now. Do I know where I'm going with this?
Nope.
But we're going to end up somewhere great, I assure you. We're going to end up somewhere great. I assure you that. So,
All right.
You grow up in this world as somebody who, you know what I'm talking about, let's go back to that, who's a part of a family setting, who consistently does something as a unit. Some of these families won't allow these kids of youth to form their opinion what they feel about that religion until they get a certain age. Now this is where the problem kicks in, right? Okay. Now we all know most kids truly start, you know what I mean, flocking away from the church at least the moment they get out of their parents' house, and or the moment that they start becoming more self-efficient. Anywhere between 16 and 20 is where most kids transition away from the church because they find other things to occupy them during that time. Me personally, I was around that age. I was within that age bracket, and so was a lot of people I dealt with. But that didn't mean they didn't go to church. It became an option. It wasn't forced on me or them. That became our obligation to make sure that we were properly aligned and we were, you know what I mean, doing the things we needed to do spiritually to keep ourselves at a mellow median, if you will. And those that didn't, that's on them. That becomes something that you have to worry about spiritually. We'll get into that. So, as a kid progresses, and let's say they come from one of these heavy religious families, like a lot of y'all know. Everybody knows at least two strong families. Like all they do, Monday through Sunday, church.
Praise the
Church.
Lord.
Church. You feel me? You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. But this is the thing.
Hallelujah, praise the Lord, thank you, Jesus.
What happens when you church a kid out? What happens when you give this child so much religion, it gets burned out from it?
Let's talk about it.
And it starts finding other ways because it feels like it's getting regurgitated information. At some point, you come to an age where it's just like the Bible becomes something that becomes regurgitated because you might have a different speaker, but it's already a message you done heard. So, what happens when that religion doesn't give you that flame anymore? And this doesn't apply to me. This is just me asking questions generally. Because this is how I start feeling like people start straying away. They start losing that flame, that fire, that desire to want to be in an atmosphere. Because it's not just the word, it's the people.
Hey, bro.
Oh my
That part. It's the people. What happens when you're not reacting to the word or people find out you've been a part of a church X amount of time and you still ain't living accordingly to how they feel you should live within that body.
Message.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Okay, this is the mindset of a young person. See, this is why these younger kids finding themselves more and more on the internet and less in your pulpit. You understand me? Because so many of these older generation churches are so traditional. They scared to break the way they did things to cater into the new generation of kids that need it the most. In the Bible, generations will become wickeder and greedier and all those things. And look at these generations that's coming forth every time we turn around. Look how like devious these generations are getting. Super smart, super courageous, but it's a generation full of greed and wickedness coming. Like all these kids know is what's portrayed through social media. So how do you reach those kids with your religion?
Get him, get him.
Do you force it on them? Do you yell it at them? Do you sit them down and try to force them to feel like this is the God you abide by because he's the only one that matters? Or do you give them structure of choice? Meaning, do you sit a child down and let them know, like, listen, this is what the God I serve does for me. Keeps me going, keeps me motivated. See, everybody always want to tie to, you know what I mean? Granted, he woke us up this morning. That's clear if you hear. You give gratitude to him in person. You hear me? Hey, listen, champ, thank you off the rip. Soon as the first lid open, hey, thank you, God. I said I'm here, ain't I? But how often do we thank God daily for keeping us in great health or good health or decent enough health, good mental mind state? Tell God to help us or whatever God you serve to continue to let us love, live, and learn and be open to change.
Turn it up.
We so focused on feeding scripture to these kids that we're not starting with the place that what God stands for, and that's love. All the things that's all a part of love. And it starts with self. These are things you have to love of yourself before you can love others and be somebody who is submissive to a scripture and have to apply and live by that daily.
Let's talk about it.
You have to be grateful enough for those things to start being able to do those things in the Bible. Because that establishes a one-on-one connection with you and your God. Now, that's just how I'm thinking when it comes to just starting a structure with somebody who's battling with religion. You know what I'm talking about? You start off with the small things of gratitude, and it's a direct conversation. Here nor there. So, okay. We're moving along. Let's just say we're gonna put the little, you know what I mean, the family orientated vibe into another situation, but we're gonna do this. Now let's say that child was a part of a church and not so much straight away from a church, but started to become somebody who got curious about the world like most children become. I did it. Most people did it. You know what I'm talking about? And nothing to be ashamed about. Because the moment you get a chance to venture off into the real world, that's your chance to prove what type of individual you will become. Now, this is what I hate. Parents. Being a parent myself. Having a relationship with God, but knowing I'm not at the level that maybe my grandma or my mama is, or, you know what I mean, my aunts or whatever. Now, knowing I'm not at that level into the religion that I'm into, but knowing I have a strong communication line with God is enough for me to start structure with my child and keeping her in an environment where she sees I'm not forcing her to do, I'm giving her a high level of consideration when she don't. You feel me? I'm not gonna force her to just church. Like everybody's probably want or feel I should. No. She's getting to the age now, if I start forcing her, she's gonna become rebellious. Because she's about to be within that 16 to 20 age bracket I just talked about. So, instead of me, yo, you know what's right, you know, no. Well, let me ask you a question. What you got to be grateful for here lately? You know what I'm talking about? Because she got to know, if I did my part as a parent and the family that assists me with her in religion, doing their part as a family, it's already in her mind to know when she needs to get herself together and at least make a little visit to that altar. You know what I'm talking about? So, without forcing her, if I'm telling her, listen, boop, you out of, you know what I mean? You out of character right now, man. I feel like you out of a line because you ain't been, you ain't been checking in spiritually. You get what I'm saying? This is not me putting pressure on her. This is just me subliminally letting her know, hey, listen, things might not be going right because you're running from something right now. You know where you might can get your answers from. So, that's not the way a lot of us came up, though. We were just forced to go. So, I'm grateful. Don't get me wrong at all, because I don't want my mom and nobody to think, oh, so you sit here acting like we forced you to go. No, that's not what I'm not saying that you just crammed church down my throat. But church became something that became something of a choice to me after some point, because it became something that I had abundant amount of. And granted, as a parent, you want to get your child spiritually ready for this world, because there's things coming that you ain't gonna be able to see. You will have to have spiritual eyes for. And if you're not teaching your children that right now, you behind. Period. Shout out to my mom and my grandma, because that's one thing we know for a fact. G, it's gonna be things that's gonna happen you're not gonna be able to see. You gonna have to know God, or the higher power that you call God, to be something real for you at that time. But for me, it's God. Period. You know what I mean? I know what God's been for me, my family, and all so forth. So I ain't gonna ever trade on God for nobody. Like, I am God's child. I am His, at some point, I'm sure I will be one of His disciples.
Hallelujah, praise the Lord. Thank you.
When I get me together, hopefully, at some point, when all of this madness of my mouth is behind me, because boy, that thing get crazy. And it's just hard for me to let that thing go sometimes, because it's who I am. But it doesn't dictate my character as I try to become the better version of me in God. Just throwing that out there. So, you don't force it on your kid. If you force it on your kid, they become rebellious. That's what drives children to the streets. That's what drives children to certain crowds, because they know God. Because the moment they get in certain situations, that's the first one they call for.
Fact.
But as a parent, you got to understand, you be firm with your child, but you let them know. That's one thing as I got older, I would say my mama did, man. Like, when she knew I wasn't checking in and going to church a certain time, like, hey, listen, you know that you ain't been doing your part. You know what I'm talking about? It's good that, you talk to God and all that, but sometimes you need to be in the house of God. And I understand that, man. Do I feel like it's relevant all the time? I don't. I honestly don't. That's just me being completely honest. If I'm gonna talk, I don't feel like it's necessary for me to be in the house of God to have a relationship with God. That's just me. But I don't mean it in the sense of I don't want to go to church. I mean that in the sense of that's me building a personal relationship outside of people.
Okay.
To get to know God. Now, at some point, do you need to be in the house of God so you can be trained properly on, how to get close to God with having a direct, intimate, relationship with just being able to speak and be able to be vulnerable to what God's trying to guide you. Yeah, that's something that you need to learn from people who have got that far at some point. But if you know you taking the baby steps to get you where you need to go, and granted, like old folks say, well, you ain't gonna have that much time to be sitting here making all these choices. You right. You're absolutely right. You're right. You got to make a choice. But I tell you one thing, you cannot be forced into a choice. Because if you're ever forced into a choice, it's never going to end good. So let's just be logical as I'm talking about religion right now. Anytime you're forced into any type of religion, it's probably going to be something that you don't stick with. Period. You're going to stray away from it. You're going to find something that's fabricated about it. And you're going to run and make all kind of alternate changes in your life. So, what happens as you get older? And, you know what I'm talking about? You become a parent. This is how I'm going to tie everything in. What happens when you become a parent? And your family is tied into the church pretty good. They know God. They expect more from you because you were raised a certain way. And you have a child. So what happens when you want to raise your child in consideration and not force, and they can't accept it? How do you feel that should be taken if that's your child? Now, if your family is assisting you with your children 25-8, you're kind of in a rough spot because you ain't got room to talk. You can't really take care of your damn self, it sound like. So you probably just need to let them rock a little bit when they come to that, because clearly your child needs to be at the altar for you, because you need to get it together, sir or ma'am. Completely hitting on that. Boy, let's say you somebody who's at a balanced place in your life, and you somebody who responsibly had a child, and you remember the things that came with having to be forced in the church, and the people in church who you felt like showed you not only that they were hypocrites, but they were hypocrites who were willing to cast stones and hide their hand. See, them the worst kind of church folk. The ones that cast stones and hide their hands, but they live in a hypocrite lifestyle behind closed doors, which furthermore pushes you on out the door. So what happens when you're a young man or woman who has to be responsible for a life that now you have to guide to be everything that you know? You know what I mean? It's got to be a median. You can't be forced. You got to be considerate, but you got to find, like, you got to make sure this child has some type of structure. Religion is structure. Any form of religion is structure. Y'all remember that. Religion is always structure based because it's a way that you're supposed to live your life. That's what structure is. Structure is the making of how something is supposed to be. You get what I'm saying? And not so many words. And no, that's not what it says in your Wikipedia. None of that. But that's what structure pretty much is. It's how something is supposed to be in its form. So, you add your experience to what you're trying to teach a child, and your family doesn't oblige. But, like I said, now you're responsible for this child. They've done their part with you. You turned out however you turned out. Now you're responsible for your child. This is where the generations start to become that gap. Because let's say you became woke. And these people, you feel low-key betrayed by in these churches because you learned a whole nother, you know what I'm talking about, another way of life. And they still expect you to be the person that you were when you were involved in their body. So they think you're supposed to pass that to your child hereditarily. You know what I'm talking about? You're supposed to pass religion down. That's supposed to be hereditary. You went to this church, your grandma, your grandpa, your cousin, yada yada. Why this baby not here? What happens when you say you don't believe in what they believe in no more? What happens when you call them out on all the mess that you've seen them do behind the scenes?
Get your mans.
What happens when you let them know you're not going to force your child to endure the things and people in the same atmosphere that they assumed that you was going to put your child through, because nothing really changed you from it? See, this is the thing. I would like to say I probably been around older folk, you know what I'm talking about, a higher level of my life, in the streets and in church. And I declare, man, this is where the gangster gentlemen come in, man, because a real gangster know God. Let's make that clear. Real gangster know God. You know what I'm talking about? Like, don't let these niggas fool you, man. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know what everybody obliging in. I know there's a lot of these jokers out here. You know what I mean? They playing around with certain other forces. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Don't get jammed up and call for him. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, listen. You choose what you choose. You do what you do. But don't get jammed up. Call for God. So, moving forward. You know what I'm talking about? What happens when you're somebody who's learned alternate ways of lifestyle and religion, and it's your God in another form? It's your God that's just called something else. Come on now. See, I'm not trying to see this way it gets a little iffy. This is the problem, Christian folk. A lot of these Bibles that we read, them ain't our Bibles. Them ain't our Bibles. You understand me? Hey, listen. My old lady Pops right now. This joker got a Bible that's the size of your back. It's an African Bible. They don't call Jesus, they call him Yahshua. Like, these are all the names from the ancient times that they called Jesus and God and all of that. I was never taught that.
Nope.
I was never taught that.
Nope.
I was never taught a lot of things until I started hanging with other people who were cultured in what I believe in. So, if I feel betrayed by people who were in the same religion as me and showing me certain things, and I seen certain things in the real world, I can't only be so mad at them because I didn't do my personal research to understand that they also were told half-truths. Come on now. Everything we read in these Bibles ain't always the whole story. As a Christian, I say that. As a Christian, I say that. The things that we read in these Bibles ain't always the whole truth. And that's where the conflict comes in with people who have a problem with Christians. Because most Christians, they'll fight to the end for God and the beliefs. And that's how it's supposed to be when you believe in something. But how open are you to not be biased to see exactly what this person is arguing about when it comes to the difference of context? Like I said, bruh, like, I've never read the Quran. The Quran is the only other version of the Bible that interests me. That's just me. That's just me. The Quran is the only other version because it holds a certain level of substance that came from that era of his, like, you know what I mean? I feel like that was more closer to God's people then than some of the stuff I read in the Bibles I have now. And when that African Bible was presented to me, And the terms they were using, it furthermore let me know, man, I've been told half-truths. What if I'm calling out the God? That's not even the name he acknowledges him being communicated to with.
That's what the hell I'm talking
See, there's a lot of things that I think that I'm rambling, but it's just stuff like that that you think. Do your research on your religion, because I'm still doing it on mine. But that's here nor there. So, you got a kid, you don't want to force it on them. You already understand that people have already showed you their hand in this religion. So you don't want to put your child through that. So let's incorporate you finding a significant other as well as having a child. Now, this is the situation that's real that most of us already know what's up. This is 2000s, period. It ain't no number on it. This is the 2000s, right? This ain't the 1990s, the 1800s, the 90s, none of that no more. We in the 2000s. So, most young people feel like they rather, when they find somebody they're interested in, their significant other, man, they want to share the same living conditions as that person, right? Okay, we all know what old folk call that, the shacking up. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's in the Bible. That's a no bueno. That is a huge no bueno to a lot of Christian folk, shacking up and all of that. But this is why I beg to differ. This is where religion became something that I understood. I needed to warp my mind around and understand and digest it for myself and apply it to my lifestyle the way I know is necessary. Because I've seen so many people suffer because of religion. Some of these folk, they go out here, they get in relationships or they get married. No, let's start here. Shacking up, right? Shacking up, you with your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, y'all become something, y'all live together X amount of time with no commitment of ring, right? That's what shacking up is. You just living with somebody with no commitment of a ring. This one about to burn somebody's ass, right? Okay, now that's wrong biblically. You know what I mean? Like, in the Bible, that's no bueno. But why would I want to? As a human, that's a logical thinker. Now hear me. This is where I conflict with religion. As a human who, you know what I mean, is a logical thinker in the 2000s. And this not me put no spin on religion. This is just a logical mindset. Now, from me seeing failure, why would I not want to live with the person who I know I may want to spend my life with and not want to assess completely as I'm with this person, can I deal with this person for eternity? That's what marriage is. Marriage is it. That's to death do you part. You understand me? So why would I not want to be with this person in a living condition prior to marriage to see, can this person withstand me for X amount of time and me her? Put religion on it now. You meet somebody, you know what I'm talking about, then you go out on a couple dates, there's really no sexual encounter, you know what I'm talking about, and this is all the structure of what religion expects you to do when it comes to love. You do all of these things. This basically limited contact, and it's just platonic love. And I respect the love part, but it's platonic and all that. But you never know somebody until you consistently around them in their living conditions, and I'm gonna get to that. So okay, you know what I mean. You taking the steps that's, you know what I mean, necessary. You know what I mean. You let this person meet your family. There's still not no sexual contact. You're not spending no nights. Y'all not really doing no nasty stuff, if none, because religion won't allow it. So, you allow yourself to keep going with this person. You let them meet your family. You let them meet your church family. You put yourself in a position now where you stuck because you love this person for real now. It's not a little play love, so now your church family has encouraged you, like you have found your partner. Y'all done did everything right, you should get married. You ain't spitting you don't even know what it's like to leave a shirt over this mother. You don't even know what it's like to have a toothbrush or take a bag over there. But now you hop into a scenario where you just with each other consistently. Now this where religion got a lot of y'all fucked up.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
You did everything right. You did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong. This goes to all the people who may have abided by the structure of what religion has made them do. You've done all these things. You've invested all this time and love. Your church family has even gave you the okay just for this thing to become something of misery to you within 6 months.
Lord have mercy.
You done let religion put you in a situation where not only did you not fully know this person, but you didn't put yourself in a position to fully get the full experience of what it's like to be with this person continuously behind closed doors. See, this is not just sex. This is not just sex. This is just getting to know somebody without the approval of anything pertaining to somebody else's opinion. This is something that you abide by. You abide by the religion, you abide by like the Bible, all these things, and you know you stood firm on it because you want to make it in to see the big fella. Respect. But now you're miserable. Now you're miserable. A lot of y'all let yourself get into these situations where you abiding by religion just to find out this person wasn't the one for you anyway. You needed more time. You needed more experience. You needed more real life scenario with this person in order to make such a vital decision. But instead, you let religion and your family and the church and all these people made that decision for you in a sense because they okayed it.
Fact.
Because you live by the structure of what that religion was. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Now, me as a parent,
How would you feel if your daughter just out here laying up with somebody? Okay.
I'm going to answer the question for you. You know what I'm talking about? Because I've thought about the same thing. It's easy for you to say it, but how you going to feel if your daughter do it? Okay, this is real. My daughter becomes of age where she can veer off and do the things she need to do for herself without my assistance. What can I really say besides, hey, listen, just know your lifestyle is something that you're responsible for now. I'm always be your daddy. I'm always be your protector, whatever. Whoop-de-whoop. But you've made a choice now to put yourself in adult situations. Don't mess that up. Don't mess that up. Don't be a fool. I'm not sitting here telling her it's okay. I'm not sitting here telling her that's wrong. Because if I did it, that's making me a hypocrite, correct? So why would I tell her, hey, look, all I can say is, look, you know in the Bible, they say you ain't supposed to be doing this. So what's the first thing she gonna say to me? How you gonna sit here and say that to me when I watched you do it for X amount of time? So why even go down that rabbit hole with her? Why not just tell her, hey, listen, just make the best decision you can for you and go with the vibe that you know is authentic when it comes to you knowing. Don't let it be in vain. Don't be doing it because it's something to do. Because if you're really trying to get to know somebody, be with that person. Don't waste your time or theirs. You know what I'm talking about? If you out here being promiscuous, that's one thing. But if you're trying to build, that's another. So you got to be honest with who you are. And that's how I'm going to kick it to my kid if ever placed in that situation as a father. Now, how real can y'all be when it comes to religion with your kid? I'm telling y'all straight up how I'm going to handle it. I don't feel no shame about some of the stuff I'm saying because I know it's real. And a lot of y'all continuously let these folk dictate your relationship when it comes to a lot of things when you are a part of a family or a church body that wants the best for you. How you gonna let another group of people choose your happiness?
Sir, not me.
Make it make sense. How How you gonna let people who you trust for spiritual guidance have any type of huge influence on your physical and mental happiness and what you know you want at heart for yourself? And that's the difference between somebody giving you an opinion and somebody making a choice for you. And some of y'all too scared to stand up to these folk because you don't want to be looked at as somebody who is not, you know what I mean, serious about who they are in the church or religion and yada yada. I mean, it comes a time and a place for everything. You know what I'm talking about? If you're dealing with somebody who in the streets, you don't know what you do. You don't know what you're doing for that man or woman to change them and alter their mindset to make them want to do better. So why let people who casting stones at what you chose alter what your decision is going to be if you know you have an end game for this person and for yourself that can lead to happiness, ultimate happiness. And a lot of this the only, I'm going to end it out like this, man. I'm going to end it out like this because I ain't, you know what I mean? I know. It's a lot. I'm going to end it like this on the street tip, you hear me? It's a lot of y'all dudes and chicks out here in the street right now, man, who know God.
Shit just got real.
Who know God. You hear me? You know God. You got family who praying for you every night. It's somebody, mama, grandma on their knees every night. And it's only because of the prayers of the righteous that's kept you making it through and surviving in certain atmospheres and dealing with certain people in certain situations you know you barely got out of. So you the ones who I'm talking to right now because you know who you are. Hey, listen, man, dig this.
Lord have mercy.
I know some of y'all veered off from you know what I mean, from Christ. You know what I'm talking about? And it's not that you veered off. It's that you got lost. You got lost in what you wanted. It ain't got nothing to do with your belief. It ain't got like, bro, okay, I get it. Some of y'all, you know what I'm talking about, you had to figure things out for you. But let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you some real stuff, man. Understand, man. A lot of y'all that's out here in the street right now, a lot of y'all know y'all not supposed to be. You feel me? Y'all know y'all got higher purposes. Because when you in certain environments, you don't say nothing, but you know you feel out of place.
Why?
It's this awkwardness that you feel, that something tugging you away, but you too stubborn to get out of that environment. So I'm going to tell you this, man. This coming from the dog himself, man. Some of y'all better go with that gut feeling. Because maybe that tug that you feeling might be the tug of something higher trying to pull you out of a situation before it take your life.
Message.
You understand me? You got that man, you got that girl that you know is that got your back, but you too busy trying to prove that you still down and you fucking with the set and you this and that to the hood. Hey, look, man, go live your life in love and walk away from this shit. You understand me? Go live your life in love. Ain't nobody worried about what nobody's family saying. If you know you got somebody that's down, that's trying to pull you away from that shit right now, get away from it. What you fighting it for? And let me tell you something. If a nigga ever got pulled out of the streets and he got called a sucker, or you know what I mean, you let this nigga, this hoe pull you out, you ain't rocking with the set no more. Hey, listen, let me tell you something about real life. If you know it's worth it, and you know you might live the following year when you questioning if you gonna make it to the next year right now, that's something you need to highly think about, buddy. Or ma'am.
Fact.
Because a lot of us leaving up out of here and we don't even know why no more. It's just happening. Don't be another statistic, young man or young woman. Understand, if you were given a gift of favor, you better use it. You better use it. Because, yeah, everything I just said pertaining to religion, I meant. But know this, if you know you still got a personal relationship with God, man, it's a part of you that you know It's time to make adjustments. It's time to make, and it's okay. It's okay. Because the people that you thinking are the people that love you ain't them no more. They ain't them no more. You understand me? It's time for some of y'all to make a decision and understand certain things. And that's here no there. I ain't trying to preach. I ain't trying to reach, man. I'm just trying to let everybody know that I care about each. And you know what I mean? That's just my way of giving y'all the ending portion of this, man. You know what I'm talking about? I still didn't hit the surface on a lot of things, man. But for time's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off, man. I hope y'all got enough out of this, man. You know what I'm talking about? I know it could have been deeper, but I didn't want it to be so technical that, you know what I'm talking about, everybody got these buku questions, man. Because I honestly don't want to answer too many right now when it comes to religion, dog. Like, religion always been a touchy topic. And for me to even do this podcast, particularly on religion, you know what I mean? I had to muster up a lot for that. You know what I'm talking about? Like, mentally, to get certain things out. And as you see, man, I kept it rather humble and straightforward with y'all on this one, man. So I hope that I gave you something with this, man. I hope some of these words didn't fall on deaf ears tonight, man. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I honestly feel like I said some things that registered with some of y'all, man. And like I keep trying to tell y'all, man, don't y'all let nobody fool y'all when it comes to, you know what I'm talking about, what you believe in, if you know it's real. You understand me? Stand for something or fall for anything, man. It's your boy Mick, man, with the big hands. Woo! And this was the trilogy of Family Matters, man. We closed it out. We did it, y'all. I'm grateful for all those who, you know what I mean, under my voice right now, man. And I'm just, you know what I'm talking about. Like I said, I hope each segment of this 3-part trilogy, man, I hope that everybody got something from something within at least one of these podcasts, man. So look, man, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm out. You hear me? So I hope I blew a couple minds. So before I go, I'm going to kill him with them 2 lines. You hear me? Let's talk about it. And be mature.